Hello everybody and welcome to Strategy, a YouTube series that aims to help you and your team improve by developing your thinking and playstyles. In this episode, we are going to look at how to play split push compositions. We'll have a look at the champions you can run in a typical split push composition, how you want to set up the map when looking to split push, some interesting alternative ideas that you can use to set up a split push, and a breakdown of a professional team optimizing a split push composition. When playing a split push composition, the general idea is to have a champion in a side wave applying pressure while the rest of your team group up and apply more pressure to a different part of the map. You then try to force your enemy to respond to the split pusher or the main group with the intention of gaining an objective regardless of what your opponent attempts to do. There are many ways to run split push compositions, but this video will primarily focus on the 1-4 split push strategy. I may explain other variants depending on whether people are interested. The priority is to have a champion that can split push. This champion needs to be able to win out in a 1 vs 1 scenario past the 15 to 20 minute mark and be able to deal significant damage to towers quickly. The best example of this on patch 6.3 is Fiora, but there are plenty of other champions that can provide a similar playstyle that can come from both the mid lane and the top lane. A few examples are present on your screen now. With regards to the rest of your composition, the two big things that you need for a well-rounded split push composition are wave clear and disengage. Seeing as you will regularly never be a full 5-man squad, it is important for you to be able to prevent the enemy from capitalizing on their numbers advantage. Some good examples of wave clear champions would be Victor and Anivia, and reliable disengage champions could be Janna and Gragas. Champions such as these would also work nicely in the event of a team fight breaking out. Alternatively, you can have poke in your lineup. While it does make your team fighting weaker, it allows you to consistently keep your opponents at arm's length while still doing damage and buys time for your split pusher to do their thing. This style of play is harder to execute but can be very rewarding if done correctly. Champions like Varus and Corki can also provide excellent wave clear alongside strong poke so they can fill two roles in one. Moving away from the champions and looking at how to set up the split push, as previously mentioned, you want to reach a point where your split pusher can consistently be applying pressure in a side wave. To enable this, good vision coverage of the enemy jungle closest to the split pusher should be made available so that they are aware of how far they can extend in the lane and when they should disengage. It is also important that your split pusher does not simply apply pressure for the sake of applying pressure. Only shove the wave and force a response from the enemy when playing around objectives such as Dragon or when trying to take a tower on the other side of the map. Trying to split push when the pressure won't achieve anything will just result in you or your team getting caught out. You can also use other minion waves when trying to split push to create more pressure from all three lanes. As a general rule, if you're looking to siege onto a turret, you should aim to have the lane that has no team member in it pushing towards the enemy base so that they will be forced to respond or the enemy team will just lose farm. You can make this even stronger by using Banner of Command on your siege minions. Do not be afraid to have someone on your team pick one up to have that extra bit of global pressure. ZZ Rot Portal is also an interesting item. Tanky top laners like Nautilus can take advantage of this item to help set them up for split pushing. Being a tanky presence means it is hard to force you out of the lane and your wave clear is reasonable. However, you will not have the damage to force your opponent out of lane and easily take the tower. To compensate for this, a ZZ Rot Portal will consistently throw out voidlings that, if in range, will slowly chunk down the tower and push the wave in your favour. It is still a relatively new concept, so experiment with it to find out how you can make it work for your team's playstyle. Let's now take a look at a professional team optimizing a split push composition. I'm going to show you Origin versus Elements from the European LCS from week 6. The first thing to highlight is that Fiora is the clear split pusher in this composition. The Gragas and Alistar act as a reliable disengage, and you have wave clear combined with poke from the Varus and Corki. With this composition, Origin's 4-man unit do not want to fight, they just want to poke, disengage and repeat, while Soaz applies pressure on the other side of the map. If you notice on the minimap, Soaz has begun to split push while Origin have begun the Dragon. Elements see this and collapse with 5 of their members. Origin are able to react thanks to their vision and immediately begin to poke and disengage. With the teleport from Steve being used, Soaz now has all of the information that he needs to go all in on the split push. At this point, Origin are just repeating the goals of their composition. Poke, disengage, repeat. Just buying time for Soaz to take an objective. Now, even though they lose the Dragon and Mithy, overall it's worth it because Origin have broken into the base of Elements. Next, Origin realised that Soaz is now the one drawing pressure, so the 3 remaining members move to the lane that has no resistance. Again, thanks to Origin's vision control, they can see elements start to move away from Soaz and turn back to the larger threat in the bottom lane. So now, all Origin have to do is go back to their game plan of poke, disengage, and repeat. This 3-man unit successfully draws the attention of Elements once more, which completely alleviates the pressure from Soaz and enables him to take an inhibitor for free. This is a perfect demonstration of how to effectively use a split push composition. If you are doing it properly, you are constantly forcing your opponents to play around you. You have to be careful as a team when executing this strategy that you do not overcommit for objectives and that you clearly communicate the positions of your opponents. Strong teamwork will enable you to effectively use this strategy. That concludes it for this episode of Strategy. If you've enjoyed, feel free to subscribe to keep up to date with all the new videos. If you have any suggestions for what you'd like to see in the future, please leave them down in the comments section below. With that, thank you for watching, best of luck on the ladder, and have a good one.